Hey everybody, and welcome to the actual playthrough of the Kingdom Come Deliverance Beta. Last week, of course, I did a short showcase, a first impression, and now we're actually going to delve deeper into this beta. It has several hours worth of gameplay, several quests, combat. I believe there's even like a big combat scenario out there for the people who want to see mount and blade like battles, though it's not like a siege warfare or something, but it involves bigger ones. I haven't actually played any of the quests yet, so I'm very curious to what it will bring. Now, this takes place, here I will read this. Our beta begins midway through the actual game. In the preceding part, your character would have evolved in a certain manner depending on your playing style. From the options, choose the one corresponding to how you would have played the game so far and shall try to adjust Henry accordingly. So you can be a jack of all trades, a diplomat, or a squire. And I'm obviously more of a talker than a fighter, so diplomat is the way I would go.
After the kidnapping of the king, chaos and turmoil ruled the land, and our province was no exception. We were overrun by bandits and marauders, and the roads were no longer safe. The most terrible massacre happened at the stud farm in Neuhof, which was raided and torched, and all the horses slaughtered. My liege lord sent his men, led by Sir Robert of Talmberg, to track down the killers and to bring them to justice. I rode with them, but the investigation has been slow and difficult. Whenever I came across some trace of the bandits, someone erased it.
It's not how an army is supposed to turn.
In the end, though, I got one step ahead of the enemy. I found out one of the bandits was still alive and hiding near Talmberg. But before I set out to track him down, I had to report to Sir Robert.
It has a bit of like pop-in and texture pop-in in the beginning, as it needs to load everything. This will just be in the beginning.
Faster! In a real fight, you'd be dead already.
Sir.
Ah, Henry. Carry on. Well, lad, have you made any progress with the investigation?
Yes, sir. I think I have at last.
So you found someone who isn't gutted and nailed to a wall?
It wasn't easy, sir, but I believe I have. I have information about one of the bandits who did it. He's even hiding in a village nearby.
God's blood. It's true the darkest shade is beneath the candlestick. Who is he?
I only know that they call him Reeky, and he's from here in Talmberg.
That's it?
You wouldn't believe how much effort it took me to find that out. But I think it's enough to go on.
But what if he's dead too?
I think we'd already know if he was. These fellows are not given to subtlety.
True enough. We haven't found any more mutilated corpses. Well, get on with it then. And when you find him, come and see me. Most likely I'll be in the encampment by Merhoed.
You can rely on me, sir. Farewell.
And be careful, Henry. I know what that rabble did to you, but remember with whom you're dealing. Don't start any foolhardiness on your own. Understood?
I'll try not to, sir.
Now again, after the news that came out recently that Mount and Blade 2, Bannerlord, might not be coming to us in 2016, they're going to try, they said, but they're not promising anything. I think this is the best bet for people who want their mount and blade fix. Though you cannot entirely compare it to. There are some similarities, as are with, for example, The Witcher, any of the Elder Scrolls games, in that we can basically do whatever we want. We can kill every NPC in this game if we want to. Now, of course, that has consequence where we will be hunted down. And I showed some of this off in the showcase. But that's not what we're going to do today. Today we're actually going to follow the quest and actually play the game properly. Though again, it does give you choice. Like, do you become a thief? Do you go do lockpicking? Do you, get your information by brute force? Or maybe use stealth? That sort of thing. Let's go and have a little bit of a word with these people. For example, I should be able to... Here we go. Here we can actually get some stuff. Now, I believe that eating is indeed in the game, like that you need to eat, which is very cool because let's say the map is going to become a lot bigger, but let's say you are in a village and you're going to travel as well. You need to actually, pack up first before you go. Let's talk to this person and ask about Reeky.
Listen, I'm looking for a fellow they call Reeky. Do you know him?
You mean Hinnick? He's the tanner's son, isn't he?
Any idea where I might find him?
I don't know. Tried his folks' house, but he doesn't spend much time there.
You know this Hinnick. Can you tell me something about him?
Not much, I confess. Most of the village folk avoid him like the plague.
Why is that?
Tanners have never been the most sought-after companions, and what's more, he keeps the company of all kinds of knaves. In short, he doesn't have the best reputation.
What can you tell me about the old courier?
As I say, he's as cantankerous as a hog in a thorn bush. He won't talk to anyone.
So you can see that you can actually expand the questions. So he's the tanner, so let's ask where the tanner is.
Where does the tanner live?
And here you can see that some of the dialogue is actually not recorded yet. At the very end of the village, go downstream by the creek, and it's the last house on the left bank. So, again, people, this is work in progress. You see it in the top right. This is done by a fairly small team. They acquired the Cry engine, which is why the game looks absolutely gorgeous. However, it is a smaller team and they have a smaller budget than, let's say, a game like an Elder Scrolls or The Witcher. So things like animations, voice acting, that sort of stuff will not be as high quality, though again, the look of it is very great. Just as maybe cinematic experience might not be as good as AAA. But then again, this is also still beta. They are working on a lot of stuff. Here we got this guy with a shield. Cannot even talk to him. I could attack him if I want to, though. I have a sword on me, which I can pull, but we're not going to do that now. So they follow the creek and on the left bank. Let's ask this woman. Hold on. Did her clothing just pop in? Did I see her tits there? I don't know. I should rewind that. Anyway.
What can you tell me about this Hinnick?
What can I tell you? No, he's none too popular. No one cares to talk to him.
Why not?
Well, I don't know. But I heard he goes round with dubious people.
Why do they call him Reeky anyway?
Why do you think? Because he's a tanner, of course.
And does nobody at all talk to him?
That harlot Adela hangs around with him, of course.
Harlot?
She works as a bathhouse wench. Same thing.
So now we got information about the... I've done a little bit of this quest, obviously, as I hear, but now we actually have a new answer here, which is where are the baths? And
where's the bathhouse?
And then, of course, it's not recorded yet. Right out of the fish pond, you can miss it. There's a big white tent in the courtyard. So the dialogue system changes dynamically, which is not new. We have seen it in other RPGs, but very rarely we've seen it in RPGs. And what I mean by this is, for example, I've tested this out. Let's say you now go to the father and you talk to him. You have different dialogue options. For example, if you were to ask him, does Reeky not have or Hinnik does he not have any friends? Normally he would say no, he doesn't hang around with anyone. However, since I talked now with that woman and she told me about Adela, the bathhouse girl he hangs out with, now I can actually, when I choose that option, he talks about that he heard that Hinnik hangs around with this girl Adela.
I'm looking for a fellow they call Reeky. Have you ever heard tell of him?
Why wouldn't I? That's what they call my son, Hinnik.
Uh-huh. You wouldn't happen to know where he is?
I don't know nothing.
Don't you know at least where he usually goes? It's quite important.
Hinnik shows up at home once in a blue moon, so I don't know nothing about where he gets to. Even if I did, why would I tell every Tom, Dick, and Harry?
Do you at least know anyone he's friends with, or someone he goes to see?
As far as I know, nobody here in the village talks to him.
I heard he's seeing some bathhouse wench.
Maybe. He can't get it for free, so I suppose he's got to go to the baths.
Wow, he's not very proud of his son, huh? And here you have different things. So I'm an envoy, so you can charm him. You can... I don't know what the fuck that is. Or you can, intimidate him. And it's kind of random at this stage in the beta. I don't know if it will be fixed. Always a fixed option in the game, but I had success and failure with some of the same ones, so...
Your son is about to get into deep shit. I'm trying to find him so I can warn him.
That's nothing new. He's always up to his ears in it.
This time his neck is on the block. He got mixed up with some very unsavory people. I have to find him.
All right.
There you go.
He was here a few days ago, but he left right away. He looked like he was in a hurry.
And you don't know where he went?
I've got an idea, but I don't know where it is exactly.
I don't follow you.
Hinnik makes some money on the side from poaching. He boasted to me a few times about what a great hideout he found in the woods, but he never told me where it is.
All right. It's not much to go on, but it's better than nothing. Don't you have any clue where his hideout might be?
I really don't know nothing about that. I could tell when he'd come from there is all.
How's that?
'Cause every time he brought some hides for tanning and money.
He had money because he sold the stuff right away?
I suppose he never kept any of his loot here.
Do you know who he sold it to?
Well, I don't really know. But the innkeeper came here now and again and gave him money. Of course, it could have been for meat.
All right. I'll ask at the inn, then.
So we're getting to the point where it pretty much becomes blind for me. What I did before was go to Adela and ask her about it, and she basically also tells you about the innkeeper, how Hinnik visited her and deals with the innkeeper. So she also tells you about money that he brought and that he actually stashed at his father's place, but I couldn't find it. But basically the innkeeper is who we need to talk to next, and I haven't done that yet, so I don't know what he's about to say. However, one thing that I do find important a little bit is that Adela, if she's here... Where is she? She's wearing a green dress. You're not her. Like, these are the bathhouses, like the brothels, I guess. Ah, here she is.
I heard you've been seeing Hinnik the tanner.
So what? Come to preach to me, have you? That I'm a loose woman, a sinner? That I seduce decent men, huh?
Look, I don't care what you do. That's your affair. I just want to ask about something.
I'm glad to hear it. Some folk don't care for the way I make a living.
I can imagine.
So, what about you, then? You look a bit careworn. A bath with a bit of company might do you good.
No, you're not hot.
That's
Bye.
not what I'm here for.
Shame. What do you want to know?
Where can I find Hinnock?
I haven't seen him in the village for a few days. He must have run off to the woods again.
Does he do that often?
From time to time.
What the hell does he get up to there?
I don't know.
Look here. I'm a friend of Hinnock's and I really need to know where he is and what he's doing.
But I already told you I don't know where he is.
So I suppose he just goes to the woods to pick mushrooms, does he?
Mushrooms? No. More like hares or other game.
So Hinnock is a poacher. That doesn't surprise me much.
Well, he was never one for an honest trade.
Do you know exactly where he goes? Maybe he has some favorite spot he might have told you about.
He said he has some hideout in the woods, but he didn't tell me exactly where.
When did you see him last?
A few days ago. He came to me late in the evening. Drunk.
That was unusual?
I never saw him drink much. He always came here sober.
So he was acting strange that evening?
He was strange. I had the feeling he was afraid of something. He kept on prattling and wasn't interested in, well, you know what. So I threw him out and I haven't seen him since.
Can you remember anything he said that evening?
Hard to say. He went on about some Jacob who died. Then he was regretting he ever got into it, but he never said what it was. And that it wasn't worth it for the money. Aye, and then he was talking about the money. That was very odd.
Money?
What did he say about the money?
Just that he had a pile of money hidden at home behind the house.
Uh-huh. What did you say to that?
What could I say? He was drunk. He kept saying I was a fine girl and other harlots wouldn't go with him even for money.
That's
and
harsh.
If I wanted, I could even take half the money and leave. Or he'd go with me and we could get married and such. Just poppycock.
Did he tell you exactly where he hid it?
He said he buried it at his dad's small holding in the western corner.
All right. Thanks.
So there we have now a quest where we can find the stash.
Is it true?
What?
Other whores wouldn't go with him even for money?
The other bathhouse girls are honest, so I don't know. The truth is, I felt a bit sorry for him. Folk don't like him, and it's only 'cause his old man is a grouch and a tanner.
So you only felt sorry for him?
Both of us are sort of black sheep in the village.
There's nothing more between you?
No, nothing more. Maybe Hinnock thinks differently, but that's how it goes.
Well, she didn't tell me about the innkeeper. She did that before, but anyway, let's actually go there. So you can see that actually you can play this game very, very dialogue heavy. I personally really like that. There might be people that find that boring. But then again, if you want, you can play this also action-packed. Just go out there, find bandits, kill, loot, create, you know, a group of people who follow you and try to conquer all the lands. It's basically the same with Mount and Blade, where you can play Mount and Blade and just go out there and go kill him, purely have an action game. Yet you can also go to the villages, go to talk to people, have conversation, haggle, you know, have diplomacy.
Welcome to my shop.
I want to ask about the courier's son Hinnock.
Then ask someone else. I have nothing to do with Reeky. He'd only drive my customers away.
I heard a different story, though, that the two of you were doing business together.
Who are you, anyway?
A friend of Hinnock's. He's gone missing and I need to find him.
I don't know where he is, but if you find him, tell him he still owes me some goods.
Fucking innkeeper.
I don't give a damn what deals you've been doing together. I won't tell anyone, but I urgently need to know where Reeky is.
What have our deals got to do with where he disappeared to?
More than you think. It's quite possible Reeky is hiding out at his poaching lair. And believe me, it wasn't hard to find out who was buying game from him. And it's even easier to go to the castle and tell them.
All right.
Boom!
But give me a word of honor you won't tell anyone about our deal.
You have my word.
Fine. So what do you want to know?